So all of you might know exactly what this particular car is. This was a roadster concept that Mini developed back in about 2014 or so, and it was supposed to be a car that would eventually be developed for the current third generation Mini lineup, and it would have been a fantastic little speedster, roadster, whatever you really want to call it. It was a beautiful little car. And unfortunately, it looked like Mini had planned to do it, then there were rumors that they were going to make it electric, and then they kind of decided never to build it at all. It ended up becoming sort of a design study, if you will. It does have the aesthetics of the Mazda MX-5 Miata, and being that Mini is a British car brand, it does have the aesthetics of a traditional British roadster. And in this particular color with this interior, it definitely fits the bill of a traditional British roadster. So here we are looking at this beautiful car, wondering what might have been if Mini had ever built this car. What is interesting though, is we do see some design cues in this particular car that were eventually carried over into current Mini models. The color, for instance, looks very similar, although lighter, to the Caribbean Aqua. There is some nice accents all over the car. Overall, it's a very pretty shape. It has Union Jack taillights, which we eventually saw on the Minis. We also have a bit of a shark fin thing going on the rear with the brake light, oddly enough. That is an interesting place to put a brake light. This car was called the Mini Superleggera Vision concept. Now, the thing with Vision is that when they put the Vision word in the name of the concept car, it means it's going to be a concept car, more than likely, and not necessarily a production vehicle. Except for the fact that the Clubman and hardtop Vision concepts actually ended up being production cars. So, overall, this could have been a production vehicle, and it had styling cues that would indicate that it would eventually become a production car. Lots of little details here and there. There's a little bit of chrome on the back. The overall aesthetic of the car, the shape, it's just a very, very pleasing shape, and I think it would have been a fantastic car had they actually built it. There was also rumors that Mini was going to possibly build this as a different vehicle. Now, for those of you who don't know, BMW owns the brand name Triumph. Triumph is known for motorcycles, but they were also known for British roadsters. And the thought process might have been that this car could have potentially been launched as a Triumph roadster, like a TR4 or TR5. Could have been something really, really cool like that. Unfortunately, that didn't come to pass either. So what we have here is a design study of what could have been built if Mini had chosen to build this. And I think what happened is Mini, or BMW, I should say, changed their minds and decided to go in a different direction with the brand. So this car ended up becoming something really cool, something really unique, and elements of it got added into future models. So you notice the headlights on the car are the current headlights basically on the current Mini lineup. They are this LED halo around the projector. Very simple, very elegant, very streamlined. The overall shape of everything is very elegant, very simple, and very streamlined. Typical Mini. And I think some of these design cues are even starting to pop up on the design renderings for the 2024 models. The production or test mule that has been going around has some similar styling cues. And you can even see some styling cues in this car that made their way onto the F54 Clubman. Truthfully, it's a beautiful car. Now, I don't know if they would have made it rear-wheel drive. They could have made it rear-wheel drive. It would have been a beautiful car, rear-wheel drive. But it could have been easily front-wheel drive, which is not unusual. It would have been strange for a roadster, but Mini built a roadster before there was front-wheel drive, and we all loved it. So, it could have happened. It could have even been all-wheel drive, as they probably would have built this on the UK L2 platform. It would have had the ability to have all-wheel drive as a potential powertrain or drivetrain for this car. Engines probably would have been the B48 engine as well. But we don't know exactly anything else related to, like, for example, the roof configuration. It's definitely a roadster. The top is concealed, so it's not a cabriolet. But we don't know exactly how it would have fit into the back of the car. My guess is that rear hatch there or trunk lid would have popped up and the roof would have come out. But we will never know, and I imagine that the concept car didn't actually have a roof in there at all. It was basically what you saw there was it. The rear view mirror is kind of interesting to me, being mounted on a wire of sorts. It looks like it's adjustable up and down in that regard. It's interesting. And there's that narrow rear brake light that's still very interesting. But LED lights being brighter than normal halogen headlights and halogen lights in general, smaller LEDs can be used for headlights and taillights and be bright enough. The interior of this car is really a work of art. It's very, very simple, very streamlined, very almost airplane-like. The styling cues are clean, simple, elegant. The seats look something like out of the R56 Roadster. The overall styling is really, really pretty. It's a very, very simplistic interior, very clean, very tidy, very modern. And I think that was the great thing about it is it's modern, but it also harkens back to the 50s and 60s and 70s and the British Roadsters of the day. The leather interiors are really pretty. It looks like leather in Alcantara. The center screen is really, really nice. There's a very simple speedometer, tachometer mounted over the steering wheel. Very tidy, very elegant. I really like this car, if you haven't already guessed. The aluminum dash is really, really cool. I would love to actually see that in a production vehicle, but I don't know if it would actually function as such. That seating surface looks very similar to what we have in the Mini Yours Lounge Leather. Given the fact that that car has moldings for weather stripping, it obviously was built to be driven in the weather, so this was not a clay model or fake car. This was something that actually did function. Lots of aluminum. My guess is it probably would have been like carved billet. It's just a really pretty car. I actually love that interior. Really pretty steering wheel. Seatbelts seem like something out of an airplane, but I love the look of them. And then, of course, the side pockets and the doors are kind of cool. They look almost like rods or something kind of stuck in there. Overall, the styling is really, really great. Now, unfortunately, I wanted to find information on this car as from a driving perspective. And the best I could do was, well, you'll see in a minute, but the interior is really nice. I don't know where Passo dello Stelvio, it sounds like it's in Italy. Given the fact that they said Milano, it is in Italy. But beautiful car overall. It's really pretty, and I would have loved to sit in this thing. Just the feel of sitting in that car with that steering wheel. That steering wheel actually looks like it's production steering wheel parts that they used. But here's the car driving. Now, it's on a gravel road, so you would drive slow on a gravel road, but I think it's driving on a gravel road and driving slow because I don't think the car actually has a powertrain that's big enough for it to go faster than that. But seeing it move, you definitely get an idea of what the car could have been as a production vehicle. It has a very short wheelbase, very kind of wide and muscular shape. It's a really, really pretty car. Very, very low windshield roofline, windshield rake. Very, very nice. I really like the aesthetics of this car and how it drives. I would love to see it drive faster, but it looks like this particular BMW executive was driving it slowly because it's probably the only car that they had. so he didn't want to damage it. But it is a really pretty car. Now, what is Mini's design direction in the future? Could they possibly build this in the future? I don't see it happening, since Mini did announce that they are going to probably discontinue the convertible at some point within the next couple of years. So the likelihood of seeing a Mini Roadster in the future is unfortunately in doubt. But what we do have is what might have been. This beautiful convertible here, this beautiful Roadster, this two-seater, kind of a evolution of the R59 Roadster, what might have been, what could have been had they continued to bring those cars around. And unfortunately, it just didn't happen. So what we have here is this really, really nice concept, very, very pretty car, and just our dreams of what might have been. But I love this car. I think it's really pretty. But I'm going to leave it at that. If you enjoyed this video, leave a like below. Don't forget to comment. If you haven't already done so, subscribe to the channel. And as always, I'm just going to remind you all before I let you go that life is too short to drive a boring car, so drive a Mini. I'll see you all in the next video.